stop everything you're doing right now. Just stop. Because what I am about to tell you is not something you stumbled upon by accident. You did not find this video. This video found you. And there is a difference so profound between those two things that once you understand it, you will never see your life the same way again. God has news for you. Not for the person sitting next to you, not for whoever you think deserves it more than you. For you, specifically, deliberately, with full knowledge of every wound you are carrying, every prayer you whispered at 3 in the morning when you thought no one could hear, every tear you wiped away before anyone else could see it. He has news for you today. And the news is good. But here's the part that matters. Here's the part that will determine everything for you. This message carries a window, a divine window, a sacred appointment set in the heavens before you even drew breath. And that window does not stay open forever. What God is releasing into your life right now in these next 3 days is unlike anything that has come before. The next 3 days are not ordinary time. They are appointed time, kairos time, the kind of time that appears once, and if you are not awake, if you are not spiritually alert, you will walk right through it without ever knowing what passed you by. But you are here. You are awake. You are watching. And that means the door is still open. So stay, because what God has to say to you today will break something inside of you that has been broken far too long, and finally put it back together the right way. If this message is already touching something deep inside you, type 777 in the comments right now. That number is your declaration that you receive what God is releasing in your life in these next 3 days. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now, because what comes next will change the way you see everything. Part 1. The truth named and validated. You have been waiting for a long time. Not a little while, not a season or two, a long time. The kind of waiting that settles into your bones. The kind that makes you question things you used to be certain about. The kind that made on certain nights you wonder whether God actually sees you, or whether you have somehow fallen through the cracks of a universe too busy and too bad to notice one person's quiet ache. You have watched others receive things, others step into things, others open doors that you had been standing in front of for years, knocking so faithfully that your knuckles were raw, and you watched those doors open for them while yours remained cold and silent. And you smiled, you celebrated with them, you said the right things, you meant it even, because you are not that kind of person. You are not small. You know how to rejoice for others even when your own heart is starving. But alone, in the quiet places, you asked. You asked God why. You asked what you were doing wrong. You reviewed your life like a manuscript, looking for the error, the flaw, the place where you had somehow disqualified yourself from the goodness that everyone else seemed to walk into so easily. What if I told you there was no error? What if I told you that the waiting was not punishment, that the silence was not rejection, that every single day you held on, every single morning you got up again and chose to believe even when believing felt like choosing to be a fool? Every single one of those days was being counted, was being seen, was being held in hands you cannot see but are more real than anything your eyes have ever landed on. God sees you. Not a general, distant, theological seeing, not the seeing of a creator who observes from a safe distance, a close seeing, an intimate seeing, the kind of seeing that knows the number of hairs on your head, and the exact weight of the burden you have been carrying, and the exact timbre of your voice when you cry alone. He sees the version of you that no one else gets to see, the one that is exhausted, the one that is scared, the one that keeps showing up anyway, because somewhere deep in your chest there is a flame that refuses to go out no matter how hard the wind blows. He sees that flame, and in these next 3 days, he is about to pour oil on it.
What is coming for you is not a consolation prize. It's not a lesser version of the thing you wanted. What is coming for you is the fullness, the real thing, the thing that was always meant for you, but that required a preparation in you that had to be completed before the gift could be safely placed in your hands. A seed needs darkness before it breaks open. A diamond needs pressure before it gleams. A soul needs the furnace before it can carry the gold that is about to be placed on it. You have been in the furnace. You know it. You have felt the heat of it. You have come out the other side scorched in places, yes, but also refined in ways you do not yet fully understand. There are things about you now that were not there before. A depth, a steadiness, a compassion that was forged not in comfort, but in suffering. A faith that is not theoretical, but lived. A faith that has been tested and has held and has proven itself in the fire. That is not an accident. That is preparation. God does not waste preparation. He does not put you through the fire for nothing and then give you something small on the other side. The preparation matches the promise, and the promise that has been over your life, the one spoken before you were born, the one written in the heavens, the one that enemies tried to steal and circumstances tried to bury and time tried to make you forget, that promise is alive. It did not expire. It did not dissolve into the silence. It is moving right now in these next 3 days. I need you to feel that. Not just hear it, feel it. Put your hand on your chest and feel the heartbeat that is still going. That heartbeat is not random. That heartbeat is proof that the story is not over. As long as that heart is beating, the promise is still in motion. As long as there is breath in your lungs, what God said over you is still being worked out, and the working is almost complete. There is something that has been held in a kind of divine waiting, held back, not because it was withheld from you in cruelty, but because the moment had to be right, because you had to be right, because the version of you that is reading this right now is not the version that started this journey, and what is coming requires who you have become, not who you used to be. You are ready now. You may not feel ready. Feeling ready and being ready are two completely different things, and God has never once waited for you to feel ready before He moved. He moved the Red Sea before Moses felt ready. He sent fire from heaven before Elijah felt ready. He called a shepherd boy from a field and made him a king before David felt ready. Readiness is not a feeling. Readiness is what happens when preparation meets the moment. And your moment, your actual, appointed, undeniable moment is in these next 3 days. Don't sleep through it. Don't dismiss it. Don't intellectualize it away. Don't tell yourself it's too good to be true because you have been disappointed before. Disappointment is real, but it is not the last word. Pain is real, but it is not the final chapter. The next 3 days are not a repetition of what you have already walked through. They are something new, something unprecedented, a door that has never opened before, opening now, specifically for you, because the one who holds all doors in his hands looked at you and said, "Now, now is the moment. Now is when I move." He is moving. The ground under your life is shifting, not in the way that destroys, in the way that builds, in the way that brings what was far into proximity with what was waiting right here. Things are aligning around you right now that your natural eyes cannot see, but your spirit knows. That is why you feel something when you hear these words. That is why something in you leaned forward. That is why you did not click away. Your spirit already knows. What is coming is real.
Part 2. Going Deeper. Let me tell you something about the nature of what God is releasing in these next 3 days. It is not coming the way you expected. This is important. This is critical because one of the primary reasons people miss divine moments is that they are watching the wrong door. They have a picture in their minds of exactly how the blessing will arrive, the exact shape of it, the exact timing of it, the exact person it will come through, the exact circumstances it will require. And because they are watching that specific door so intently, so rigidly, they do not notice when grace slides through a window they had long since stopped looking at.
God is creative. He is infinitely, magnificently, wildly creative. He parts seas. He speaks through burning bushes. He feeds thousands with a handful of bread. He brings water from rocks. He raises dead things back to life. He does not operate inside the limitations of your imagination or mine. He operates from a realm where nothing is impossible, where every closed door is simply a redirection, where every dead end is simply a reorientation towards something better. So let go of the picture. Let go of the specific shape you decided the blessing had to arrive in. Hold on to the promise. Release the packaging. Because what is coming in these next 3 days may look nothing like what you expected, and it may be infinitely greater than what you asked for. Think about the last time something good surprised you. Think about the last time something came into your life that you did not see coming, did not plan, did not engineer, and it turned out to be exactly what you needed. There was something in that moment that felt larger than coincidence. There was something in that moment that felt arranged, because it was. Every good and perfect gift comes from above. Every single one, not some of them, every one. And one is on its way to you right now. There is a weight that has been pressing on your chest. I don't need you to name it. You already know what it is. That thing that visits you in quiet moments, that thing that follows you into sleep sometimes, that persistent heaviness that has become so familiar that some part of you has started to believe it is permanent, that it is simply your portion, that this is just what your life is and always will be. It is not permanent. That weight is not your inheritance. That heaviness is not your portion. The thing that has made your shoulders slope forward and your eyes drift down, God is reaching into that place right now, in this exact moment, and He is beginning to lift it. You may not feel the lifting immediately. Sometimes the lifting happens in the invisible first, in the spiritual realm, before it becomes visible in the natural. But once it begins, once God starts to move something, nothing and no one can stop it. Nothing. Not your history, not your mistakes, not the people who spoke against you, who told you that you would never amount to anything, who planted seeds of smallness into your story, not the enemy who has worked so hard to keep you stuck, to keep you diminished, to keep you circling the same mountains year after year, telling you there is no way forward. There is a way forward when God is involved. Because God does not see dead ends. He sees turning points. He does not see mountains. He sees things that move when spoken to with enough faith. He does not see the chains. He sees the freedom that is already waiting on the other side of them. And these next 3 days, these 3 sacred, appointed, heaven-marked days are the turning point. Can you feel it? That thing in your chest that quickened just now when you read those words? That is not suggestion. That is not wishful thinking. That is your spirit recognizing truth when it hears it. That is the deep calling to the deep. That is the part of you that has always known, even through all the pain, even through all the silence, even through all the waiting, that this was not the end of the story. You have always known. Even on the worst nights, even when the evidence against you was stacked high and the voices of doubt were loudest and the road ahead looked impossibly long, there was something in you that would not completely let go, something that held on with the very tips of its fingers when everything reasonable said to release. That something was not stubbornness. That something was not naivety. That something was faith. And faith, your specific, battle-tested, fire-refined faith, has brought you to this moment, this exact moment, this divine intersection of time and eternity, where the thing that was promised is finally, irrevocably, unstoppably arriving. Do you know what it cost you to get here? Do you fully understand the strength it took? Not just the spiritual strength, but the daily, ordinary, unglamorous strength of getting up again and again when everything in you wanted to stay down, of choosing hope when hope felt like a wound, of keeping your heart soft when the world gave you every reason to let it go hard. That kind of strength does not go unnoticed in heaven. Every morning you chose to rise, a record was made. Every time you chose kindness when bitterness was available, a record was made. Every prayer you sent up that you never saw answered, a record was made. And records in heaven are not forgotten. They are not lost. They are held and honored, and they are eventually, in the fullness of time, which is right now in these next 3 days, they are repaid. With interest, with compound, divine, supernatural interest that exceeds every human accounting system ever devised, because God is a God of just enough. He is a God of more than enough. He is a God of pressed down, shaken together, running over. He is a God of exceeding abundantly above all that you could ask or think. He is a God who takes the little and makes it much, who takes the broken and makes it whole, who takes the lost and returns it found, who takes the mourning and turns it deliberately and completely into dancing. The dancing is coming. In these next 3 days, something will shift in your atmosphere. It may be subtle at first, a thought that lifts, a door that opens where there used to be a wall, a conversation that redirects everything, a moment of sudden clarity that rearranges your entire understanding. Or it may be unmistakable, the kind of moment that stops you in your tracks and makes you put your hand over your mouth because what just happened is too specific, too precise, too perfectly timed to be anything other than divine. Either way, it's coming. Stay open, stay expectant, because the window is open and the next 3 days are sacred.
Part 3. The Turning Point. There is something I need to tell you about who you are. Not who you think you are, not the version of yourself that has been defined by what you have been through, by what was said about you, by what you lost or failed to become, or almost reached and then watched slip away. I am not talking about that constructed, wounded, accumulated identity. I am talking about who you actually are. Before the disappointments wrote their narrative over your original story, before the rejections layered their interpretation over your worth, before the losses told you what you lacked, before the delays convinced you that waiting was the same as not being chosen. Before all of that, there was a you that was designed in the mind of God, and that original design has never been canceled, never been revised, never been taken off the table. You are someone God considered before He made the world. Let that land. Before there was light, before there was water or land or sky or breath, before any of this existed, you existed in the mind of God as an idea, so specific, so distinct, so irreplaceable that He could not imagine the world being complete without you in it. And then He made you. He made you exactly as He intended to make you. Every detail, every particular quality of your mind, every specific gift hidden in your hands, every way you see the world that no one else sees it quite the same way, every single thing about you was deliberate. Do you know what that means for what is coming in these next 3 days? It means that what God is releasing into your life is not generic. It is not a mass-produced one-size-fits-all blessing that He hands out like leaflets. It is something that was made for you, specifically. The way a key is made specifically for a lock, the way a name is given specifically to a person, the way a calling is written specifically into a soul. What is arriving in your life right now fits the exact shape of who you are because it was designed with the exact shape of who you are in mind. This is the turning point. This is the moment where everything you have been through suddenly starts to make sense. Not in a way that erases the pain because the pain was real and deserving of its weight, but in a way that reframes it, in a way that allows you to look back at even the worst chapters and see the hand of God working through them, preparing through them, aligning through them. The betrayal that broke your heart and forced you to rebuild, it also showed you who you really were without the scaffolding of that relationship. It showed you a resilience in yourself that you would never have discovered in comfort. It showed you that you could survive things you thought would finish you and come out cleaner, clearer, more yourself on the other side. The failure that humiliated you, it also redirected you. It closed the door that looked like the right door, but was actually a detour. It rerouted you toward the path that was always yours, but that you never would have chosen if the other door had remained open. The loss that left you empty, it also made space. Space for something new, space for something better, space for the version of your life that had been waiting all along, but could not enter until there was room. Everything was working. Even the things that hurt, even the things that looked like nothing but damage, even the seasons that seemed like pure waste. God does not waste seasons. He does not waste a single tear. He does not waste a single night of anguish or a single morning of grief. He is the God who takes what was meant for your destruction and converts it alchemically, supernaturally, with a divine precision that will make you cry when you finally see the full picture, into the very thing that serves your destiny. Joseph went to a pit, then a prison, then a palace. The pit did not abort the palace. The prison did not cancel the palace. The years of suffering were not a detour away from the promise. They were the road toward it. Every piece of what Joseph went through prepared him for the weight of what he was called to carry. If he had arrived at the palace without the bid, he would not have had the humility to lead. Without the prison, he would not have had the wisdom to serve. Without the suffering, he would not have had the compassion to save. Your pit made you. Your prison formed you. And now, in these next 3 days, in this window that heaven has opened specifically over your life, the palace is being prepared. Can you receive that? Not just agree with it intellectually. Can you actually open your hands and your heart and receive it? Because receiving is an action. Receiving is a posture. It requires something of you. It requires that you stop arguing with God's goodness. Stop building the case against your own blessing. Stop rehearsing all the reasons why something this good could possibly be for you. It is for you. You have been building a legal case against your own miracle. Exhibit A, the time you fell short. Exhibit B, the sin, the mistake, the moment you're most ashamed of. Exhibit C, the unworthiness you feel in your bones. And you present this case every time goodness approaches you, every time a door begins to open, as if to say, see, I don't qualify, take it somewhere else. But God's goodness is not a court. Grace does not operate by the legal code of human merit. What God releases into your life is not based on your perfection. It is based on His, not on your worthiness, on His faithfulness to the word He spoke over you before you had the capacity to earn or lose anything. That word has not changed. That promise has not expired. And the next 3 days are the moment where that eternal word collides with your present reality in a way that cannot be undone. The turning point is now. Right now, not in some distant hypothetical future, not when you finally fix the thing that's broken or become who you think you're supposed to be before you deserve good things. Now, in these next 3 days, in the life you have, with the faith you have, in the condition you are in right now. God is not waiting for a better version of you to bless. He is blessing you now. Receive it. The window is open. 3 days.
Part 4. The Transformation. Something is changing in you right now. I don't mean later. I mean in this moment as these words move through you. Something is being rearranged at a level deeper than your thoughts, deeper than your emotions, deeper than the part of you that can be reached by reason or argument. Something is happening in your spirit, in that innermost place where only God can go. And what is happening there is the first movement of a transformation so complete that when it is finished, you will barely recognize the life you are walking into. This is what the good news actually means. It is not just news about what you will receive. It is news about who you are becoming, because the greatest gift God can give you is not a thing. It is not a circumstance. It is not even a door that opens, or a problem that resolves, or a relationship that heals, as beautiful and real as all of those things are. The greatest gift is the version of you that emerges on the other side of all of this. The you that has been refined by fire and knows it.
The you that has survived the unsurvivable and understands your own strength. The you that has been broken open and found in the breaking that what lives inside you is more luminous than you ever imagined. That version of you is arriving. Not gradually, not vaguely, not in some dim and uncertain future. In these next 3 days, something is being activated in you that has been lying dormant, waiting for the right moment, the right pressure, the right divine signal. Like a seed that has been underground all winter, containing within it a whole forest, waiting for the warmth that tells it now. Now is the time to push through the soil. Now is the time to reach toward the light. Now is your time. And when you push through, when the new version of you emerges into the open air, the people who knew you will notice. Not because you will become someone unrecognizable, but because you will become fully recognizable. For the first time, perhaps, they will see who you actually were all along, underneath all the weight and the wounds and the waiting. They will see the real you, the one God always saw, walking freely in the life that was always meant for yours. What does that life look like? It looks like waking up in the morning and feeling the weight of yesterday lifted. It looks like walking into rooms and feeling like you belong there, not because you performed your way to belonging, but because you know at a cellular level that you were made for this. It looks like the relationships in your life reflecting the new frequency you are vibrating at. Some old connections falling away naturally, painlessly, as they no longer match who you are becoming, and new ones arriving that feel like reunions even though you are meeting for the first time. It looks like looking in the mirror and not flinching. It looks like peace, deep, unreasonable, unearned by human logic. Only God could explain this peace. The peace that surpasses all understanding, not because your circumstances are perfect, but because your foundation is unshakable. Because you know now, with a knowing that goes beyond information, that you are held, that you are loved, that you are seen, that nothing that comes against you will ultimately prevail. That the goodness of God is not a rumor, but a living reality that you have tasted and will taste again in greater measure in these next 3 days and in every day that follows. This is your inheritance, not a distant posthumous inheritance, not something you wait to receive after death on some golden shore, a now inheritance, a this life inheritance, the 100-fold, pressed down, shaken together, running over inheritance that Jesus spoke about in this life. The peace, the joy, the divine appointments, the right people appearing at the right time, the provision that materializes from sources you did not expect, the healing that comes in waves, first the physical, then the emotional, then the generational, reaching back through your bloodline and forward through your children's children. You are a carrier of something, something that does not stop with you, something that was placed in your lineage for a reason that is larger than your individual story. The blessing that is being released over your life in these next 3 days is not just for you. It moves through you into everything you touch, every person in your sphere of influence, every life that intersects with yours. You are a conduit, a channel, a human doorway through which divine goodness flows into the world. That is your calling, and the enemy has spent years trying to make you forget it, has tried to keep you small, diminished, self-doubting, distracted, defeated, because a you who knows what you carry is too dangerous to the darkness. A you who walks in full awareness of what is inside you changes the atmosphere of every room you enter. A you who knows your worth, your calling, your inheritance, a you like that is unstoppable. And that is exactly who you are becoming. These next 3 days are the activation. Whatever you have been asking God for, the thing you barely dare to name because hoping for it again feels too vulnerable, receive it. Not as a wish, as a word that has already been spoken in heaven and now being made real in the earth. Receive it with both hands open, with a heart that has done the hard work of staying open despite every reason to close, with a faith that has been tested and has held and now is being rewarded with a harvest so abundant that it will require you to expand just to contain it. The harvest is here. 3 days, the last of this divine window, the final closing of a heaven-sent moment that was prepared for you before the foundations of the world. Not one person reading these words right now who needed them got here by accident. Not one. Every single one of you was guided here by a hand you cannot see, but that has been guiding you all along, through the pain, through the detours, through the silence, through the fire, to this exact moment where God says, I have very good news for you. And the good news is, you made it. You made it through everything that tried to stop you. You made it through the nights that should have broken you. You made it through the losses that should have emptied you. You made it. And now, in these next 3 days, you don't just survive anymore. You receive. You rise. You become.
If you are still here, if you stayed through every word of this, then you already know. You already know that this was not a coincidence. You already know that something moved in you while you listened. You already know that the stirring you feel in your chest right now is real, not manufactured, not suggested, real. The kind of real that only comes from one place. God is speaking to you today. He is saying, I have not forgotten you, not one day, not 1 hour, not one breath of this long journey was lived outside my sight or my care. I have been here through every valley, and I am here now at the threshold of what I promised you. And the threshold is not somewhere far away in a future you cannot see. The threshold is right here, right now, in these next 3 days, in the life you are already living, in the body you are already in, with the faith you have already built. Come through. You have earned nothing, and because of grace you receive everything. You have been through much, and because of faithfulness your harvest is overflowing. You have waited long, and because of love, the wait was not wasted, but was weaving something inside you that makes you capable of carrying what is coming. You are capable. You are chosen. You are loved with a love that does not waver, does not diminish, does not depend on your performance or your purity or your progress. A love that looked at you in your worst moment and did not look away. A love that is running towards you right now, not walking, running, with the robe and the ring and the feast that was always waiting. Come home to who you were always meant to be. These next 3 days are yours. All of heaven is watching. All of heaven is cheering. And God, the God who made you, who knows you, who has never stopped loving you, God says the news is good, the best news, and it was always meant for you. If this message found you today, subscribe, because what God speaks through this channel is for people who are ready to receive it. Stay close. More is coming.